Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today is a bit different location as well as video, and I want to show you ways to track your reading. So I will show you the ways that I do it, and I've been doing it for years, and then maybe giving you tips of how you could do it yourself. There's many different ways you could do it, but I basically do it in I was gonna say 4 or 5 different ways, and all of them has its benefits and its downsides. So I will try to show you a bit of pros and cons and all of them, and I hope you enjoy. So I thought I could go in the order I started to use that myself, and I will start with how I first started to track my reading all the way back in 2009, which means I've basically been tracking my reading for, I can't do math, 12 years now, which is a really long time, and I can really appreciate, having all the stats from all the way back then. And I started out in this really battered book, which you can see is really destroyed, and I don't really use it anymore, but I still keep it because of the memories. I think I stole this from school. It was like a book you used to write notes in, and I stole it to use it for my own purpose. So what I started out with is basically, oh god, it's literally falling apart. I have the title of the book, the author, the dates, and the page count. That's what I started out with all the way back then, and I will try to do some zoom-ins of this book so you can see it a bit properly. It's actually really yellow and ugly, which I would expect. But then later I also added, not here, language in the end, because I read in the 2 different written Norwegian languages, and I started to read in English. And as you can see, I can see the dates when I read it, I can see how many pages I read. Not that much, but you get the general overview, and it's really easy to look in and look back on. And later I also transfer all the data into this new one here, because I wanted a prettier version of it, where I wrote really nice. And I haven't transferred data into this, I think, in 2 years. And since I read basically 600 books the last 2 years, it would take me ages to do that. But I think I will do it eventually to keep with the old days. So that's a really easy way to do it. It's not exactly as I do my journal now, because I have another journal where I do different stuff, but with this setup you could write in exactly what you want. It's really easy and simple, but it's like a long list, and you don't get all different stats or reviews, anything like that, if you want to remember more. But it definitely works for a simple setup. And then I of course started with Goodreads, so we will move to another window in trying to do it in a fancy way. So here we have my Goodreads as of right now as I'm filming this. Obviously, I assume most readers know about this page. You can have your reading challenge, and the thing about this is that it's a really good search network. While the search bar is terrible, you can also go in and check if you added all your books, which part in a series you're on, if more books have come out. You can check authors, you can write reviews, you can read other reviews. It's a whole community. The negative part about Goodreads is that it is of course owned by Amazon, so if you don't want to support them, you will do that by using their site. But also it's a really nice place to also support authors and have a community of readers and find out your favorite reviewers. Most likely will use this site as well. I'm not actually showing you anything. I just assume most people know what Goodreads is. I started to use it in 2011. I put in all my stats from 2009 into it, and I look back here. It's not even in order of what I read. Why are these here on top? I don't know. But yeah, so you could also add also to be read piles, of course, etc., so that it's easy for you to find books that you want to read but haven't added yet. But yeah, it's a good time. I feel like most people know what it is, as I said, but then there are other more indie sites you can use. For example, Storygraph is a site most people have started to use. You could basically do all the things I just said you can do in Goodreads. It is free, but I also do have a plus plan here. I haven't used this a lot because it didn't have all the books that I wanted. Wait, can we go into my profile? I haven't used it in 2 years, but I did transfer everything. The thing about this is that reviews are a bit different. You can read more about each book. I assume people have moved things, and then people yeah, you can see reviews here as well, of course. The fun part that I love about this is that they have reading challenges. I haven't even thought of mine. I mean that other people can make reading challenges. I was trying to find out if I could find one, but of course I couldn't. The Buzzword challenge was the only one I could remember. And here people can add in 4 different prompts. They can add in books, so you can just press, for example, the first one, and you can find books that fits the challenge. And I love this because this is just so useful because it's so hard to find books for challenges sometimes. So that's one of the things I love about this site. But yeah, it's also indie owned, etc. I know a lot of people have started to use this site instead of Goodreads, but I personally prefer Goodreads because I have all my stats there, and I found Storygraph lacking for me right now. Also, I'm too lazy to add in so many books. But yeah, that's just another option for you. The thing that I find beneficial also about Goodreads or a internet site is that a book can easily be lost, or if your house burns down or something, which is my fear, you will lose all your stats for years. So I like to have it double up, where as I mean that on Goodreads you would have it available anywhere and you can always find back to it. But it's not like as easable like to read a list out, kind of like you can just see it on page. So in that way it can be lacking, and you have, you know, less control of exactly what you see in front of you when you enter the page. You have to like look for stuff, you know. But yeah, that's the two ways I tracked my reading for years before going into other ways. Okay, so I was gonna record something, but it didn't let me, so I will record it on my phone. So here is another way you can track my reading that I started with in 2016. And I use OneNote for this. Basically, you could use any other, I was going to say, note application you can find. And what I like about this is, as Goodreads, you have it available everywhere, on your laptop, on your phone, whatever. This is the way I use it. You could of course make it your own, but basically I have many different lists, because I found that this is easier to like read out in a list instead of like having it also, you know, public, as Goodreads would be public. Also, you know, you can make a private profile, but I meant like this is for you only in a way. So I have, for example, wrap-ups, where you can see the different years. I write up every single title just like to see what I read. This is the list I use when I film a wrap up, for example, because I found Goodreads, you know, a bit everywhere as well. And I have many other lists. I list all I hold. I have my TBR here. Every book I need. This is the list I use if I'm gonna like randomize, and like overview of challenges, etc. And I have like releases, writing up the ones I'm most excited for, and like as you can see, some are what's it called, stoked out because I already bought them. So like I use this for everything. This OneNote thing is like my life. On all the books I own that I have already read, for example, I have a list of all of them in alphabetical order, so I have a full overview of exactly all the books I have. And you know, Goodreads doesn't really work for this, for example, because I have several editions of books, so I write in every single edition, so I know exactly the amount of books I have. I initially actually literally made this list because I was scared my house would burn down and I wouldn't remember how many books I had, on which editions I had, etc. because I had so many books. So I literally made this for that, because I always have it available, because it's, you know, saved in a cloud. Unless, you know, the cloud dies because of a zombie apocalypse or something. But overall, just love my lists, and I will die in this app. No, it's not even an app. It's, you know, free for everyone. And you can have it on your iPhone, you can have it on your whatever. So this is just the way I use it, but many different lists, etc. Then I started to use another app, I think in 2017, 2016 as well, and that is another way to track your reading, of course, which I have on my iPhone, and I can transfer my footage over to my Android, so I still use an iPhone only to use this app. And this app is called BOOKCLUB. There is several apps like this, I believe, but I use BOOKCLUB. Wait, how do I record my phone? This app is called BOOKCLUB, and this app actually costs money, so that's a bit sad, but I know maybe there are probably free versions of it, and you can use it without paying, but then you can't see all your books, so that sucks a bit. I paid once years ago, and then since you were like paying before they started up a subscription plan, you got it for free forever, and I'm like, thank you. So yeah, but to be honest, I would probably pay for it anyway, because I've been addicted to this app. So this app, this is the only books I have here right now, lets you time your reading. And as a person who reads a lot, I love it. You can also put in reminders to remind you to read. You can put in goals, how much you want to read each day by, for example, page counts or time. So if you want to read 10 minutes every day, you can put that as a goal and then remember you to do it. So what you do is you continue reading, in this case for this book. It will take on a timer. You will be unused to using this timer in the beginning. I forgot it several times. Once I had a timer of like 18 hours and I was like, oh shit, it's been on here a lot. Now you can edit your reading sessions, etc. You couldn't do that before. But yeah, it would just go, I pause it every time I don't read. You can add a quote, you can add a countdown. That should give you a notification when you can stop reading, thoughts and words that you don't understand, and even have like sounds on when reading. And what you do is like you stop your reading session and you put in the page count that you ended up on. And then you will get stats for when you will finish a book. I will try to show you. I don't know why this became a guide into using Bookly, but it just is now. So here, this is a book I started, as you can see, the 13th of March. Oh god, I pressed it by accident, but that works. Use 16 minutes and 38 seconds, and it would tell me how fast I read. It also gives you an estimate time of when you will finish this book if you continue as fast. And then you have stats. You can't see like the dots anymore because it's been more than 14 days since I read it last. But usually there will be many dots down here for the book. I can show you another book. Wait, so here is like, you can sort them in maps, and here is all my books. I have 1,000 books added into the app. So let's see the book I read yesterday, which was Finley Darwin. I only have one reading session because I only used, like, I usually pause it, and then I just have it on pause the whole day until I read again if I like don't read it all in one go. But you can just end the reading session if you don't want to do that and start a new one the same day. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, as you can see here, you can edit it. If you start after midnight, the date would be the next date. Even though if you want to count the day before, you can change the date. You can change the page count. If you wrote it incorrectly, you can change, as you can see, you can change the time if you like had a timer on for too long or too short, etc. You can add reading sessions to a book if you didn't remember to put in a timer. You just don't get like kind of points if you don't have a timer on. So literally they've improved the app a lot since like when I first began to use it, because you couldn't do all this then and you had to like do everything manually. I had a timer on for the timer to go so that I would get the set time because I've forgotten to put it on, etc. It was a bride. And you can also add audiobooks that won't count pages if you don't want that. But also you can have the timer on, you know, when listening to your audiobook, and put in your pages if you want that. So here's my stats. You can see the last 30 days. You can also edit this. You can edit the dates for like your stats. This is all my stats apparently. You can like custom your reading progress as well here so that you can choose the dates for when you see these stats. This is my 2022 stats, 2021 stats, etc. And these takes a little while to load. I don't know if you do that with everyone, but it always takes a long while for me because I have so many books in this app. And also, apparently, I have 3,000 thoughts because there was a while I put in all my thoughts in here, but I don't do it anymore. You can add readathons. You get these infographics thingies that you can press and make and share. It's a lot of stuff. So for me, this is really worth it to use. It does have some bugs sometimes. It's really annoying, like the timer can bug, etc. Like you pause it and suddenly it says 4 hours when you haven't read for 4 hours. So you kind of have to like edit that, etc. if you really want it accurate. And then also you have a reading streak of days that doesn't want to load in now. I think I have over 1,000 days, etc. I like to read every single day. This app really prompted me to do that and didn't read every single day before starting to use this app as well. It's really helped my reading. I don't know why I'm promoting this app. I'm not sponsored or anything. I just really love it. It's like other things are for like lists and overview of series, etc. This is more for like improve my literal reading while I am doing it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a different thing, while the other things like overview after the fact that I have read. Well, this is like while I'm reading, it helps my progress. But yeah, I feel like now I could have just made a whole video about Bookly, but we are just rolling with it. There are other apps like this. I found this super randomly once when I searched for a book app, and I know there are other apps like this. This is the only one I experienced in, but yeah, there is more stuff you can do. I just don't remember right now. But yeah, also there's like a little assistant thing. You have monthly reports. You have so many things. Yeah, here's like earn these I was gonna say diamonds when you have the timer on. You can buy these things to have it like as your icon, etc. It's very cute. And yeah, they are also improving the app a lot. It was not like this when I started to use it. So big supporter. Bookly, you should sponsor me. I will go on to the next one because I feel like I covered this now. Now we have 2 more ways you can track your reading that I'm going to cover. The next one would be a reading journal. And for this one, you can make your own, but there's also reading journals available you could buy. For example, Oakrate has one every few years. I think Fairylit is coming back with a new one. I know Hannah from A Clockwork Reader made her own, and you can buy that. There is more alternatives to this, but I make my own. And I started this actually after watching Books with Chloe a lot. She made beautiful reading journals and I was inspired by a lot. So here it is. This you can make as simple or as complicated as you want. But this is basically an extended version of the Bookly app for me. I have a lot of challenges and stuff in the beginning. I'm just going to show you like a spread. I could show you the ones I actually made a video for, which should be up before this video. So that this is my April spreads. And I just put in the month and just write my TBR, and then I like usually mark it off if I finished it. I'll try to do a zoom in of this as well. And then I track my reading every single day. I know most people who have reading journals don't do this. I've never seen actually anyone do this, but I literally write in every single day what I read, how many pages, some thoughts if I have room for it or I bother, every single day how much I read, because this is making an extension of the Bookly app. This is in my hand. I fear that my Bookly app will lag and I will lose all my stats. That has happened once before where I lost all my stats for like 3 months and I never could get them back. And there's been a fear ever since. So now I literally have it all covered on paper. And then I have my wrap up here where I glue in all the books. So like here is another example for March. And here I glue in all the covers and put story links on them. And you can make it as complicated or as not complicated as you like. Before I used 4 hours on the spreads and now I use like 45 minutes because I made it more simple for me, what it fits for me. There's a billion reading journal videos you could watch if you want inspiration of what you want in yours. But basically what I would do is just in your reading journal put in what you will use and not what you see other people do and you think look aesthetic kinda. Because like for example people make like bookshelves where they put in all the books they read in like a bookshelf they draw out, and I could do that, but I also know that I read much more than the books I will be able to draw, so it would just frustrate me and I will be annoyed. So like for me I don't use that, but I know like most people and most journalists I watch do use that, but I don't. So this is an example, just think about it. And yeah, you can make it yours. It's kind of an extension also, you know, as the first one I showed you with the lists, but this doesn't have like the overview of like the dates, exact dates and page count, etc. for every book, even though like I write in pages every day, but then I have to like go and read to actually find the pages. That's what I usually use Bookly for, to check the pages, etc. Now I will show you the last way to track your reading, if I can make this thing work again. It really didn't like me after a while. So the last way that I know a lot of people use is a spreadsheet. And there's a lot of different spreadsheets you can use. People make these for you that are all filled out already. You can just put in your books. And I try to use Compile that BOOKCLUB has made, and I have filled in my books for this year up to like mid-February. I haven't bothered after that and I have so many books to add, but I will eventually do it. Oh god. And this one you can also use as you want. It reminds me a bit of a mix of Onenote and the list I made, the first one I showed you, option 1, because it's just that it is online in a way. But it's kind of fun because you can see the stats in a different way. Of course you can remove and add things as you want. There's also other versions of this. I know several people make this, but this is just the one I saw and I want to try it out. So reading stats are really fun. You can see exactly how many books you read every month, how many pages, hours listened, etc. This is just like one version, as I said, for it though. There is different versions you could use. This looks funny. And yeah, this is just a way people do it. I know there are other ways, as I said, but this was just one example I wanted to show you. I will leave a link to it down below if you want to check out this version. But as I said, you could Google and find out more if you want. And yeah, so that was all the different ways to track your reading. First one, really simple, and all the other I think tracking versions that I'll show you are like an extension of that. That's why I went in that direction. Then, you know, you have Goodreads, which is really good to search up stuff, want to know where you are in the series, etc. Storygraph, another option to that. Reading journal, an app, and you know, my lists, my OneNote list and Compile are like kind of in the same vibes. But in my list on OneNote, you can have overview, like not just stuff you have read, but also stuff you're going to read, or like what you own, and have an overview of that. And always be able to edit it. That's important, because you will edit your TBR constantly. Having that written down on the paper is not going to help me. And you know, Bookly encouraging you to read more real time. So yeah, I hope like you could kind of see what each option could give you, even though I am horrible at explaining stuff. This is kind of different also kind of video for me to make, and I hope it was like semi okay. Well, I do also know it was kind of a mess, but yeah, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed. I do like to be organized with my reading, and I hope that one of these options could help you, or you could just make your own version of whatever you feel is fit. If there are any questions, leave them down below. And yay, leave a pen emoji down below if you enjoyed this, and you will see me soon in the video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!